Hi, welcome to Between Peaks and Valleys. My name's Hannah,
I'm Joe.
and tonight we have this is our warning of possible triggering topics that have to do with placenta accreta, lower uterine segmented pregnancies, plus,
Bleeding?
yes, thank you, blood loss, termination possibilities. Am I missing?
No, just sensitive topics.
Just very, yeah, sensitive topics, early pregnancy, um, that type of situation. And also just throwing it out there, we're not doctors, we don't have medical degrees. Always consult your own doctor. Any questions and concern, make sure to talk to your doctor, medical team. I don't recommend Google. You can always, get information on your own and then talk to your doctor about it.
Talk to a doctor.
So, with that being said, I think we can dive into it.
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about what happened to us in October.
Yes. So, we found out we were pregnant. We were very excited, and things started to kind of go downhill a little bit pretty fast. Um, so
The last video we talked about September and pregnancy and all that fun stuff.
so keep going.
We're going to keep going into October.
I had to make a little list. So we were at one clinic and they decided, hey, this is kind of out of our realm. We need you to go to a different clinic.
Yeah, once they
And
saw there was like a lower uterine segment pregnancy and
or possibly ectopic
cervical,
cervical.
yeah, they were kind of like, hey, you know what? You should probably get another opinion and go to a specialist for high
Yes.
risk pregnancies because we cannot handle this.
Yes. And I appreciate that because
Yeah.
they were giving us a chance and they knew we really wanted this baby. So off we went to MFM.
Maternal fetal medicine. I almost forgot. We've done this so many times. I almost
Yeah,
forgot.
I almost forgot to tell you.
Yeah.
And then so we switched over to there, and before we even had our first appointment, we did have a little scare um because we already got told that it was a possible ectopic cervical.
Hmm.
I had started getting what's known as lightning crotch, which usually doesn't happen until close to your end of your pregnancy, usually from the baby growing and being on nerves. Well, I think with mine being so low, it was still growing, but even though she was very small, still could be on nerves. So I started getting lightning crotch. I didn't know what was going on because this is not something you normally get in your early on pregnancy. And it was pretty painful. I mean,
You look like you. I mean, you can handle pain pretty good, and you were definitely wincing and like, there's something's wrong. We have
yeah,
to go to the ER like now,
yeah. And I'm not usually one to want to even go to the doctor
right? But
if I don't have to.
we didn't know, and the doctor basically told us if something like this happens, you should be going to the ER.
Yeah. So off we went. It was stopping me in my tracks. It was making it so it was kind of like making me gasp. Not that I was choking or anything, but like it would just come on very fast. And so we ended up at the ER.
And it was the ER to the new place
Yep.
that they referred us to, and this was our first experience at the new hospital they referred us to, and it wasn't great.
No,
It
it
was not
was
a good
not.
experience.
We were there for 4 hours. And so I had gone up, or Joe had gone up, one of us had gone up and said, what's going on? They had then said, oh, we're just waiting on the doctor to go over the results with you. And at that point, all I had done in those 4 hours was check in. So that quickly turned into, well, we haven't been seen, so what results are we talking about? And then they were kind of had an oh no movement like moment, and they got us in pretty quick. They got us seen. By then, I no longer had this pain.
Yep.
There was never ever bleeding with it.
Yep.
I already just wanted to go home. Um,
Which I think we were about to
we
do.
were trying to do that because we hadn't been seen. And then that's when they were like, hey, no, just come see the doctor real quick, just in case.
And we had an appointment with the new place literally the next day.
The very next day.
So we're like, maybe just go home and see
Like,
what happens overnight and go in tomorrow.
yeah. So that was our intention when things weren't working out. But then they had us go and see the doctor. Talked to the doctor, got checked out. Doctor said, hey, everything's
Yeah,
looking good.
he was cool. He was
You
like,
know,
everything's good.
I think you're fine. Of course, it was good to come in just in case, but you're doing good, so you can go home. And within 2 minutes, he came back in the room and was like, hey, actually, an OB from labor and delivery wants to see you after all, and asked us to hang tight. So we did, and that person was the worst.
Oh my gosh,
Like,
she was terrible.
she just walked in without talking to me, without literally checking me out physically, without doing an ultrasound. Um, None of those things were done to me other than I was checked out by the previous doctor,
Yeah.
but no ultrasounds or anything like that. So the things you kind of need for this, they did not do. And instead told me that I need to terminate my baby right now because I have an ectopic pregnancy.
Yeah.
And I had to explain we do not have a confirmation of an ectopic cervical pregnancy yet. And therefore, we're waiting till tomorrow. So we're going home.
Yep.
And she decided to keep saying that I need to stay and that I should be terminating this pregnancy tonight, right now. And if I don't, they're just going to do it tomorrow. And she was really pushing that on us. And we were like, stop.
Yeah, Hannah just kept saying like, you can stop saying that now. Like, we're not doing that. That's not what we're doing. We're going to go home.
And then she brought up paperwork from like 2 weeks prior of an ultrasound and only a piece of the sentence saying
Like possible.
it didn't even, she didn't even mention possible.
No,
She
didn't.
said, you have a cervical ectopic pregnancy. And I said, no, actually, it's asking for confirmation on it. That's the reason I'm switched over to this hospital. They need to make sure that it is that before we go into talking about termination. Like, that's the whole point of tomorrow. And she just kept going, going, going. And I was just like, not having it. But then Joe really let her know, like, you can leave the room now because we're leaving.
Yep.
And I felt a little like, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. But at the same time, she wouldn't listen. And I think if you're a doctor, you need to listen to your patients, especially if you're
Yeah.
going from one place to another and they have all the information too. It's not news that I had a possible cervical ectopic, but for someone to say that it was definitely that, when I know for a fact
Yeah.
with all my doctor appointments that I had that
Yeah,
that was just questionable.
I couldn't believe she was doing it. Just trying to force us to do a decision without even doing an ultrasound. It was crazy.
And it felt like it was very forced because she also had an intern with her. So the hospital we were transferred to is a school hospital, like a medical school one that the internships get to come and work at the main hospital and on look everything. I really honestly felt like I was picked to be a guinea pig for someone's school study. And that was not okay with me.
And that was bad.
So we ended up leaving. I ended up telling the next appointment the very next day of the situation the night before. How she said that they were going to terminate that night and that I needed to stay, and that if I did not terminate, I needed to stay no matter what because they would be doing it first thing in the morning, um, from the doctor that I was seeing that day. And that doctor apologized and said, no, we want to make sure first. Like, they should have never said that. And then I did let them know I never want to see that person again.
We didn't.
Yep, which worked out.
Mhm.
So then we went and saw our new doctor, one of the many, and we got some pretty heavy news and some good news. Um, the good news was that it was not cervical ectopic,
Yes, the baby was not in the cervix, just very, very low,
but she was a lower uterine segmented pregnancy
which is the first time we heard
of that.
of that at all. We didn't know what that meant.
Yes. So that was interesting.
Yeah,
Also, like,
scary.
she was still considered ectopic because ectopic means like the baby didn't implant correctly or in their correct spot that they would want. That normal, like 90% of pregnancies go in the correct spot. Don't quote me on percentages when I talk. Again, I'm not a doctor and I don't know statistics on this, but I just know with my pregnancies, 4 out of 5 were in normal spots. So I don't know, I guess 80%.
Who knows?
Like, whatever. Anywho, um, after that, she did go into talking to us a little more deeply about the possibilities of issues that could occur. Um, oh shoot, I wanted to show them pictures and I charging my phone.
They gave them. You want to go over the
Yeah.
options?
So, first option that they gave us was to terminate, and that was so that I get to keep all of. Turn on the TV,
I
man.
didn't mean to. I pushed the button.
I get to keep all of my.
It's all your uterus. And everything.
Yeah, but like, there's a word for that. My anatomy.
There you go.
There we go. Um, because there was concerns that I could have possibly placenta accreta. They weren't sure yet, and so therefore they were like, if you want to terminate, it's fine. It's not a bad thing. We can make it so it's legal medically needed. Because I live in a state that's not legal to just terminate. And then I denied that. With our luck, we've had really good luck between 18 to 20 weeks that things always turn out to be better. So, not in this case, but again, out of the 3 pregnancies we had together, that's what happened.
Yeah,
So,
complications that worked out at the end.
yeah. So we were going with this is normal for us.
Yep.
Option number 2 was that if I have accreta, I could start bleeding out. And again, the baby would have to be terminated or would pass. Option 3 was if I bleed out and the baby doesn't make it, that the accreta could have started going and growing into other organs. Therefore, I would need a hysterectomy. Usually, that also ends up being into your bladder. There was a lot of talk about that. We did find out that the bladder grows back if it's not severe.
Or at least heals. We know that.
Yeah, or at least heals. But there are some there. They said it was rare times that they have had to remove a full bladder, but it has happened. And then, you could bleed out, lose the baby, and also die. So that's not something we want to hear and hits a little close to home. And then the last option was, or everything kind of fixes itself and we just keep going. But at 30 weeks, I move into the hospital and I would not go past 34 weeks. And so I'd be delivering. And so that was kind of the only little bit of hope that we had. So we decided to hang on to that.
They told us there were some cases where that's what worked.
That's worked. And also that they deliver babies that the moms had accreta every week.
Yeah, once a week at least.
So we felt a little bit more comfortable with that.
Yeah.
There was no
news, but
there was also no confirmation I had accreta.
Yeah.
So it was more like possibly, but they don't know still, and finding out that accreta is not something you can always see. Most cases, 80% of them, you don't see it, and that one I can stand by that percentage right there. But again, consult your doctor. But that's what ours said. 20%, is visible, and most of them it's in the back, and that's why. So, and as we go on, that's where mine was. So,
yeah, so we decided we're gonna keep going.
Yep.
And they scheduled.
Oh, hold on. Is it this one?
Yeah, but that's the next.
Nope. This one.
Yeah, so then we scheduled the next appointment. They said they want to see us every week, and then we were going to see different doctors, more than likely.
Okay. Yes.
So then we went back a week later.
Yes, you're
for
right.
another ultrasound.
You're right.
And that's where that picture in your hand comes from. So the next doctor was a different doctor. He was great too.
He was great, but also it was a little scary.
Yeah. So he's like the ultrasound guru.
Yeah.
And
And
he asked some funky questions.
he did. He said, "Has anyone ever told you that you maybe have two cervixes
Or abnormal
or an
uterus.
abnormal
How many
uterus?"
C-sections have you had?
And we were like,
No,
"No,
no,
no,
zero.
what? Like, I can show you my stomach. I never had one. Um, Now I have, but at the time it was all no. So we were like, what is going on? And he was like, oh no, 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 no. Just curious, just trying to figure things out and trying to see. And I want to send these pictures off and get more information and send it to other doctors.
Which is never good to hear
Nope.
that they need to send it up to a bunch of people.
No, it's not. Um, but yeah. So this is when I started saying that I had a little squash baby. Or squash uterus, I should say, not my baby, but my squash uterus. So I'm gonna show you guys. This is Arabella. This is her amniotic fluid. This outline following my pen is that's my uterus. She really is like very. I think that's. I have to look at this sometimes. The shading is like hard for me. Okay, so it's up by the head. My cervix is like over here doing its thing.
Yeah, she's like right on top of it.
And she's like growing literally so close to it, just like so close. And they were worried that this might have been spots showing of Recreta over here and these darker spots. And not so much on these ones, but up here. Um, because they thought they were calling it pooling. And so they could see liquid and it was moving and they were trying to figure it out. So that was something. Um, I'm not sure about this part of it, but I think that's just other things outside my anatomy. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I know.
But so that was something they were worried about in the first one. Oh no, in that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were worried about it, but then they said, you know all the risks. They went through them all over again. We got to hear it all over again.
Hold on now. I just want to
Oh,
say,
sorry.
real quick, you can see. Right, where's my pen? She's holding her hands, and I just love it. I just think it's like the sweetest thing in the world. So I just want to share that.
Yes, she's a cute boy.
Yes.
But that doctor was like, hey, you know what? You know all the risks. We went through them all over again in great detail. He was very blunt, which we appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
And he's looking up what's best for Hannah because we have other kids at home. We understood all of it. But he also said, like, you were gonna come in every week for an ultrasound, but don't. He's like, you're just gonna hear the same stuff over and over again. He's like, I don't see anything changing for at least 3-4 weeks. So just go home, be with your family, try not to think about it, just do your regular stuff, take it easy,
Yeah.
rest, all that
Rest,
stuff.
but I wasn't on bed rest.
No, but he was like, just
But
don't
just
like be lifting
don't.
weights or going on runs or
Yeah.
exercising. Just kind of chill.
Just hang out.
And we were like, okay, sure, we can do that. And he was really good.
Yep.
And then about a week later,
Yeah. Then 2
Yes,
days
the phone
before
comes
your
up.
birthday.
No, the phone. Sorry, keep going.
2 days before your birthday, we were getting ready to go to the beach. It was just one of those days that I just felt like I just wanted to get to the beach. And give me a sec, sorry. Um, Joe and the girls had gone to the car, and I was getting ready to walk out the door too, but I stopped and said, "Hey, just give me a second. I just want to go to the bathroom one more time. Like, empty my
Pregnant, you pee a
bladder."
lot.
I
Yeah.
do, yeah, I pee a lot. But to be honest, at this part of the pregnancy is not usually when you pee a lot. So, but everything started to make more sense once we found out that we were a lower uterine segmented pregnancy because I was peeing a lot more than normal, and it started roughly end of July, beginning of August. I guess it makes more sense when there's something growing down there and that's affecting your bladder. So, where usually the baby is growing higher up, and so that doesn't usually occur until the baby gets much bigger. But yeah, so I went to the bathroom, doing my thing, and I'm like, man, wow, like I'm going for a while. This is interesting. And I tried to like stop it, like do a Kegel, and it didn't. stop. It was just a constant, like when I first started, it felt like I was peeing. But then I kept hearing it, and it didn't feel like I was peeing anymore. So I did that to try to stop it. And that's when I realized I had no control over what was happening. Um, so I looked to see like what was going on, and it turned out I was bleeding.
A lot.
And yes, and I had been sitting there honestly, it was like 2 straight minutes.
It was a long time.
Um, I just thought it was like the longest, weirdest pee. I just thought there was something like a movement that just
Yeah.
was holding a bunch back that I didn't know.
Because there's
And
no pain or anything either. Right?
yeah, there was no pain. And so I was like, oh my gosh. So now I'm freaking out though. Joe has my phone in the car. He's in the car. The kids are in the car. I have nobody in the house with me. And so I end up taking my pants off and using toilet paper to hold things together to go to the front door and hope a neighbor doesn't see me as I poke my head out to try to get his attention.
Yeah.
I think one of the kids told you I was at the door.
Like, your mom's right there, and then you were like way lower than you would be for standing up, so I knew something was wrong. And I could see in your face how emotional you were, and I was like, oh no, kids, get out of the car. Like, go back inside the house. And I came in and went into the bathroom with you. You told me what was going on, obviously. And I
Yeah,
saw all the blood, and I was like, we gotta go right now.
yeah. But before we left, I wanted to make sure that the bathroom was clean. As weird as that sounds, there were a few things. I wanted some pads because I needed to know how much I was bleeding because the doctors would be asking the same thing. And I wanted the bathroom cleaned. And he was arguing with me that we need to go now. But in my mind, as a mom, I'm thinking more, I don't want to traumatize our children. So
So I cleaned
I
up the
don't
bathroom.
want them going into the bathroom while
Yeah.
we're not even home to talk to them about it. And I don't want them being scared and seeing how much blood there was.
There's a lot. It was scary, honestly. As a full grown adult, I was scared.
Yeah.
So I cleaned the bathroom as fast as I could, wiped it all down, flushed the toilet a bunch of times, got her clothes, got everything, got her into the car, called my mom, was like, you need to get here. And she went right there, grabbed the kids, and started calling hospitals because we needed. One thing the doctor said is like, make sure your local hospitals, since this one was 40 minutes away, make sure any local hospital can handle C-sections, hysterectomies, emergency situations. Like, don't just go to any like urgent care. Like, make sure you're at
Yeah.
a real, true hospital ER. So we called one that we actually had experienced before that we liked, and they said absolutely, we'll let the ER know you're coming. Like, just get here and come right in. And so
Yeah.
we did, and they knew exactly right when we walked in what was going on, and got us into a room. Pretty like almost immediately. It was like they're like,
Hmm.
here's a wheelchair, go. And then
Yeah, they literally, I don't even think I had fully been admitted paperwork
no,
or insurance or anything.
they did like a quick check in and brought us to the room.
Hmm.
And what felt like forever, it was really like 40 minutes. Bleeding kind of slowed down, didn't stop all the way, but slowed down a lot. And then within 40 minutes of praying and crying and hoping, and we were in the ultrasound room. And then immediately, as soon as they put it on there, we saw the little flutter of a heartbeat, and we were like, oh, thank God, but also, what's going on?
Yeah. But it was also like a flashback to Madison because this is
Yeah,
the exact scenario that we
exact
had,
same thing. Yeah,
except it was earlier in the pregnancy. I think it was like less than 8 weeks when that happened with our pregnancy with
yeah.
her.
And
And
it's the same
she was
thing.
our first pregnancy together.
That one we were
So,
in the ER forever.
yes.
This one they
But
were
this
like,
was the same scenario. It was relieving to see the flutter.
yeah, we were like, this is gonna be exactly like Madison's. Everything is gonna be crazy, and
Hmm.
doctors came in and it was the weirdest news we've heard since.
Yeah.
Everything looks normal, is what they told us.
And we were like, they're crazy.
Yeah, we are like, no, it can't look normal. Like, we have a lower uterine segment, pregnancy. She's on top of the cervix. Well,
I'm like, my uterus
I didn't
looks
say
like a
she because
squash.
yeah, we didn't know the she. They're like, no, your uterus looks fine.
Yeah, they're like, no, you have a normal shaped uterus. I'm like, no, I don't.
So,
Like, I'm arguing with the people that are telling me,
like,
like,
yeah, no, we saw it last week. It was not normal looking.
yeah.
And then here you have the picture there.
And then this was going to be our announcement picture, but we never got to that part.
But everything looked normal there. There she is.
Hmm.
Uterus is normal again. Everything's fine. Tons of amniotic fluid.
Yeah.
So pretty crazy.
And she had moved because there's my cervix, where in the other one, her head was like right
Yeah,
on it.
she was starting to position herself, and we think maybe that pooling was blood, and maybe something, I don't know, like a, I forgot, some sort of hemorrhage happened. but they never really gave us a true classification of what it was.
Yeah.
They went through like it could be this, could be that, could be this, but basically, don't worry, everything's okay. You're not bleeding anymore. If it happens again, come back. But it might happen again. It might just be something that happens in your pregnancy. But go home.
Yes.
And so that was great news. We were still very skeptical though. We're like, there's no way it's normal. And then we had another appointment.
A week later.
Yeah, right a week later. They did another ultrasound.
A little bit over a week later, but yeah, we had another scheduled appointment, and that was when we were at the MFM one, the last one. I had really liked that doctor, and I had asked them to switch us over so that I could just go into a normal doctor's office and consult with him. What I didn't know is that I wasn't going to get him, and I'm a little bummed about that. That's one of the things that I wish I knew. But anyways, we go there, we see this new person who is like a higher end registered nurse, an APRN, I believe. Almost a doctor's level, is my understanding. And she looked at the ultrasounds and she's like, "All right,
yeah, everything looks good.
Everything's looking good."
And then she actually brought to another doctor, another OB doctor, and she looked at it and said, "Yeah, everything looks good."
And I was just like, "Are you?"
And they're like, "Yeah."
Are you sure?
We were like, did you read the notes from last time? They go, we went through everything, and we understand like what it looked like before, but right now everything looks normal.
Yeah.
Like, you're okay.
So we actually left there and went to lunch. Yeah. That's when I made the announcement picture.
Yeah, we were like, oh my gosh, we're fine. Like everything's good.
We were
still like, let's take it easy and don't do crazy stuff.
A piece of me said not to do anything yet, not to post, not to announce.
We were still skeptical because all we've been hearing since then was bad news and ER visits and it was bleeding and so much bad. We're like, let's just wait.
In my mind, I kept hearing, wait to 26 weeks, wait to 26 weeks. I don't know why. I think that's just because during that first MFM appointment with the female doctor, one of the things she had mentioned was that typically after 26 weeks, the lungs are fully developed. And closer to 26 weeks was the better. So if something was to happen before 30 weeks, before I was supposed to initially move in, I wanted to know the possibilities, the chances of survival for her.
Yes. And then that was the end of our October appointments.
Yep.
We left. It started off very hectic, very scary, very traumatizing, and ended
on a higher note.
On a higher note. And,
but still
very skeptical.
Yeah.
Which we all know how it ended, unfortunately. But we were very skeptical that something was going to happen. So we still took it easy and didn't do anything crazy.
And I also continued to spot throughout.
Yeah, and they just kept saying like, yeah, it might happen. You don't ever know. So it was a lot of different, a lot of phone calls, a lot of doctor consultations, a lot of telehealth stuff, and there was 9 appointments in October altogether, and some ER visits. So
yeah, so it was busy. It was crazy and hectic, and
yeah.
After this, I'm just probably gonna make another video. Maybe I won't actually. I might just post a link and like some images in the comment section of what
Accreta is,
what it looks like and stuff. It's kind of like, I don't know. It kind of reminds me of cartoon slime.
It's a scary thing, and it can definitely cause a lot of problems. There's sometimes it's more mild, and sometimes it causes all the way up to bleeding out. So definitely read into it, look into it.
I don't know of much cases that it's mild.
Yeah, maybe not mild, but you know what I mean, like survivable, where the baby
can
survive.
And the actually, survive. I was reading that they people that they're able to monitor sooner, they actually are 78% saving their uteruses.
That's good.
Which that's not my case.
Yeah.
I read that today and I was like, wow, that's pretty amazing for those women.
Yeah, for them. That's good.
Because that gives them another chance. So
but that
made me happy.
Yeah, that's good for them.
But also, one more thing that I did learn is most placenta accreta occurs because of people having multiple C-sections.
And IVF too.
And C-sections have been on the rise. So with C-sections being on the rise as a choice of birth, accreta's been on the rise. And it literally can kill you. So if you don't have to have a C-section. I know it sounds scary to deliver a baby, and C-sections sound amazing, and I'm sure they are when you're dealing with it in a different way than I did. But I just your chances of having a CREDA and having issues and dealing with losing a child, everything goes up.
Yeah, so definitely think about it
Yeah.
before making any decisions. Look
Like
into it.
one C-section is pretty much like okay, but after that,
It's also the number one
it's
cause for lower uterine segment pregnancies is C-sections. They actually call them C-section scar implementations. That's why they were so surprised when we said we didn't have a C-section
yeah.
because that's usually when they see it.
So,
Something to think about.
yep,
But
just putting that warning out there just in case because a lot of people don't know that.
that was our October. Thank you for watching.
Yes, thank
And
you.
our weekly recap is up as well from last week. And have a good week. We'll talk to you next time.
All right. Love you
Thanks.
guys. Bye.
Bye.